All right, I asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram, and you guys came through and asked me some juicy questions. And so today I'm going to be answering them: personal development, entrepreneurship, SMMA, agency life, personal life, and so much more. And so I'm going to be going deep with these answers. And without further ado, let's go right into it. So the first question is, do you invest? If so, what do you invest in? I actually answered this question on my Instagram story, but I just wanted to answer it on this video because a lot of you guys enjoyed that answer and it was a bit controversial. So I do invest quite a lot of my income, but my split isn't very traditional. So don't be expecting, 50% of my investments to be in crypto. By far, the largest investment is, and it's always going to be, my businesses, right? That is the one thing that's going to give me the largest return on my investment. Why? Because number one, my skill is growing businesses, right? So I'm playing to my strengths. Number two, I've got control over that, right? And number three, when I build a business or when I scale my business, that's an asset, right? It has value to it, right? And so when I grow it, not only does it pay me, it doesn't give me money, right? But it also becomes valuable. It also employs people. And so that is why my largest investment is always going to be my businesses. And if it's ever not my businesses, then I'm going to go, something is wrong here and I got to fix that, right? And so when I say businesses, what do I mean by that? I mean talent, right? So hiring great people for my team. I mean marketing. I mean product creation for my ecom brands, right? A whole range of things, right? Equipment even. The bottom line is I'm willing to go broke building cool shit that I enjoy and that I think will change people's lives. And so really that's my largest investment. And the final reason that I didn't mention, right? Why I invest so much into my businesses is also because it's what's most fun for me as well, right? And I'll talk about crypto in just a second. Sure, I could put money into crypto, but it's not really a passion for me. Like I don't like looking at numbers on that chart and being like, yeah, that grew. Like that's not really a passion project for me. And sure, that, there are certain things that can be a part of your investment portfolio that are not super fun, but even real estate, which I'll talk about in just a second, that's more fun for me because I like building shit. Like I like, the feeling of like growing things and seeing a project through. And so I don't like the detachment that stocks or crypto has. But anyways, that's enough. So that is the first portion of my investment. My second portion is personal development. So contrary to popular belief, I don't invest into courses. I don't invest into the typical courses where there's thousands of people in a Facebook group and you're just watching a bunch of videos and there's not really, maybe there's like a call every once in a while, but there's really not that one-to-one interaction. There's no accountability. There's no, there's no personalized touch to it, right? And the reason why I say that is because if you look at history, right, the way we used to learn was by pretty much osmosis, right? If your dad was a shoemaker, you were a shoemaker. Why? Because you could shadow these people. And so that's what worked when it comes to mentorship. And if you look at the formal education, obviously that's broken, but I don't think the course model, although it can be decently effective, right, is never going to get the results that a one-to-one personalized mentorship and personalized interaction is going to get, right? And so that's why instead of courses, I invest into mentorship, into coaching programs, right, where there's accountability. There's, I can talk to the person that has done what I want to do or has found success in something that I want to get better at, right? I want that one-to-one because that's what's going to produce the best result in the least amount of time. Sure, I may have to pay a little bit more for it, but I don't really care because the alternative is something that sure is going to cost less, but there's really no guarantee of results. In fact, there's the risk of not getting results with that because there's no personalized interaction, right? It's just you watching a bunch of videos, and whenever you hit a roadblock, you need that one-to-one interaction. So that is my second area of investment. The third area is over 6 figures in crypto, but I'm going to be taking profits and I'm dipping. I'm out next year, early next year, I'm out of crypto. As I kind of spoke about just now, I don't like the energy in the crypto space. I completely understand that there's folks who just love it. There's students of mine who absolutely love crypto and will vouch for crypto. And I believe in the technology. I just don't really believe in crypto as much as I used to even, right? I'm not saying it's a pyramid scheme. Like I'm not shitting on it. I'm invested into it, right? And so there's a reason why I'm invested into it. But compared to other places where I can put my money, places where I can build a tangible asset, right? Places that actually make me passionate, and also places that have more certainty, right? If you look at the very successful people, the very rich people, they don't get rich by speculating, right? They actually play very safe in investments. And what makes them the most money is their businesses, right? And so it's also funny to me when people start talking about how they're going to get rich with crypto. No, crypto can amplify your wealth once you have wealth, but you need to build wealth with businesses. Anyways, that's why I'm out of crypto. I'd rather invest that money to literally anything else, but really my businesses, right? I'd much rather invest that money into, more staff, more, employees, more talent, more marketing, more ads, etc., etc. And the final reason why I think like that as well is because the ROI that I can get on my businesses is actually higher than crypto. Let me explain. I'll throw my hands up and say that I'm not a crypto expert. I don't really have the mental space or time to find those coins that are just gonna boom, right? And they're gonna explode to the moon, right? And so since I don't have that time, I'm never gonna get the type of returns that someone who's looking at these charts every single day is gonna get, right? And so the gains that I've made in crypto, they're good, much better than any traditional investment vehicle, like for example, stocks, right? But the type of returns that I can get on my businesses are way larger. And when I tell people this, they're like, no way, because they hear all these crypto success stories. And I'm not saying those are bullshit. I'm just saying those are from people who dedicate their time to just crypto, right? And so when you dedicate all your attention to that, you're going to get a higher return on that. Make sense? So since I'm dedicating all this time to building businesses, and that's really what I'm good at, the return is always going to be higher on my businesses. So that's that. And the final thing is real estate. So I didn't tell you guys about this. In fact, I was going to document the whole thing this year on my channel, but I was about to buy my first investment property early this year, actually August. And in the end, I pulled out. There are a few things that, my lawyers looked at and they were like, this is probably not the best investment in terms of, there are a few things in the contract that I didn't quite like when it came to really the final decision making. I had already put down a deposit, like everything was locked up. Like I went to see it with my girlfriend as well. I went to check out the place. I mean, the place was beautiful. Maybe I'll tell you guys once I buy the first investment property, I'll tell you what this place was and why I pulled out. But my aim for next year is to buy 2 to 3 investment properties, and I'll share with you guys how I'm approaching the whole process. But it's a project that actually excites me quite a bit, simply because, as I said, aside from building businesses, if I were to put my money into anything, it would be real estate. Just simply understanding myself and having that self-awareness that I like to see projects through. I like to build. I like to have assets that have certainty, right, when it comes to value. And the list goes on. So that's that for my investments. This is not financial advice. I'm definitely not an investing expert or anything like that. I just know how to grow agencies and grow e-com brands. So don't trust me on this, but just wanted to share that with you because a lot of you have been asking me. So that is the first question. The next question has to do with investing as well. And it goes, what is your best investment tip for 2021, 2022? And my answer to that is, most people that ask these questions, they're not in a position where investing makes sense. And I don't want to assume life of Vinny. I don't want to assume, but I don't think you should even think of investing unless you have 10K in the bank as min, more like 30, 40, 50K. And the reason why I say that is because by far the best investment when you start is yourself. That is going to be the best investment, right? A lot of people go, they look at crypto, they look at stocks, and again, they look at NFTs. And again, I'm not saying you cannot make money with those, but in the long term, you might get lucky with an NFT, right? But in the long term, the investment that you're going to get on yourself is unparalleled, right? And so I'd much rather invest 4, 5, 6K on myself, on a mentorship, on a program, whatever it is, right? Whatever you want to invest into. I'd much rather invest that money into myself because I know the return that I'm going to get on that is going to be huge, right? You can build a 6-figure business, even take it to 7 figures. And so that's really the first place that you should be looking at to invest into yourself, right? And I even consider like moving out as investing into yourself, right? So if you've got like 10K in the bank, in my personal opinion, I'd rather invest that money into moving out of my parents' house, and so that I put my back against the wall and it's kind of like leveling up in life, right? Why? Because ultimately 10K, 30K, 50K in crypto, at this point especially, like it's not really gonna make you rich, right? And so I think these type of investments, stocks, crypto, more traditional investments, they can only amplify wealth. They cannot create wealth. And so that is why the first investment would be myself. And the second investment is once you've been through the paradigm where you've invested quite a bit into yourself, I'm not saying stop, right? You have to constantly invest into yourself, but it makes a lot more sense to invest into your businesses now, right? And that may mean a mentorship or a program or whatever it is, or a consultant comes in, right? And teaches you how to use or how to do better bookkeeping or whatever it is, right? And so really force yourself. And once you're making quite a bit of money with your businesses, 100% your businesses and yourself still. So that would be my best investment tip for this upcoming year. And it's not really going to change depending on the year. Like I just think ultimately this is what you want to invest into, and you're not really going to get better returns anywhere else. Next question is December challenge. if you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you guys know that I'm a big fan of like, making these challenges and setting these routines and habits. And I would say my December challenge would be doing a final sprint to finish some of the projects that I've been working on this year. And so that includes launching my second e-com brand, a brand that is much more close to me and that is tied in some way to me, but at the same time is very separate from me. And also there's a few other projects that I've got in the pipeline that I'll be sharing with you on the YouTube channel. So really number one is a final sprint. I see myself taking a break more start of January. I'll be hopefully traveling then, but I haven't really traveled or taken a break since like June. And that's because there's been a few projects that I'm just so freaking passionate about that I've been building before June, but I just sprinted from June till now. And I think it would be a shame to take December easy. So I'm going to do a final sprint. And once it gets to Christmas, I'm Christian, I celebrate Christmas, and I will be spending that with my family. I'll be spending that time reflecting on this past year, being grateful, and just putting myself in the right place of mind, planning next year. And yeah, just a bit more downtime to think and to reflect. So that's kind of my plan. Till Christmas, I'm doing a final sprint, finishing up some projects that I still haven't finished for this year. And then come Christmas, I'm going to be spending time with my family, being grateful, and reflecting on the year and planning the year that's to come. The next question is, why do you say that the ROI on other businesses is higher than in crypto? This question came to be because I answered the first question that I covered in this video. I've already explained this, but the ROI for businesses for me particularly is going to be higher than crypto because I'm not a crypto expert, nor do I want to be one. My skill is growing businesses, and it's really what makes me passionate. And so obviously I'm going to insert more energy into it, leading to a higher return on investment. The next question is, how do you handle loneliness and constant mindset? I'm guessing, being disciplined and, motivated if I'm alone in life when walking my path of personal development or whatever path you're on. So this is a common question that I get, right? Because by now, if you've started your entrepreneurial journey, you realize that it's kind of pretty lonely, right? Most people are not trying to do what you want to do. Most people actually tell you that it's a bad idea. And so you kind of feel pretty alone. So the first thing to understand is loneliness is very different to being alone, right? Loneliness is an emotion. Being alone is just a description of oneself, right? So for example, right now I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. I don't feel a sense of loneliness. And so the reason why a lot of people feel lonely, I feel, right? Again, I'm not a psychology expert or anything like that, but I think one of the reasons why people feel lonely is simply because they don't have the right expectations of the journey. I think that once you accept that in this path, for much of it, especially at the start, you're going to be alone. Once you accept that, I think it really frees you and it actually gets excited. And that actually brings me to my second point, which is I feel like most people don't know how to be alone. And it's a pretty rare skill for most people to have nowadays, especially, us living in a world where it's just dopamine driven, right? Like all these apps are constantly giving us dopamine. And so people cannot sit and just be. People cannot be alone. And so learning to be alone, whether it's through meditation or, reading a book or whatever it is, right? Or taking a walk, learning to be alone is such a key skill. And if you cannot be alone, then you should really self-diagnose yourself, because I personally think that it's a weakness. Now, I do understand that there are extroverted people and there are introverted people and there's people right in the middle. And obviously extroverted people get energy from being with other people. I'm not denying that, right? But I also know that extroverted people can learn to be alone, right? The problem comes when you have to have the validation of other people. You have to be around people. You constantly have to lean on other people, and you cannot be alone with yourself and your thoughts, right? That for me is a weakness. Whether you're extroverted, introverted, I don't care. I think learning to be alone is such an important trait to have. On to the next question. So this is the penultimate question. What would you consider a hot niche right now? Classic, I know. So yeah, it's a classic question, and that's why I put together a video for you guys a few days ago on my main channel. This one right here. Go check it out after this video. People have really enjoyed that video, and so I think that will be the answer to your question, Fran. But really anything within the e-com space is hot, because the e-com space in and of itself is hot, and it's not like this trend or this fad. Like, it's going to be hot for the next 10, 20, 30 years, right? So really any niche, any sub niche that you pick within e-com is going to be hot, right? Whether it's like home decor or like tech, whatever it is, it's going to be hot. So anything that you pick within e-com is going to be hot. Now, what's not hot? Probably local businesses. So that is that. And the final question is one that I've been getting quite a lot. How can I get into the mentorship program? I know I keep it pretty low key, but one of the reasons why I keep it low key is because it creates a certain barrier to entry that only the people that jump on the application calls are people that truly want it. And then obviously on the application calls, we vet, we make sure that it's a good fit for both. And then from there, we can take it. But essentially there's a link in the description where you can click, you can go ahead and book in a slot with my team and myself. And we can just jump on a call, discuss further details. And if so, we can take it from there. If not, no hard feelings. And also the reason why I have these calls is because there's a lot of personalized one-to-one time. And so one, I want to make sure that I'm investing that one-to-one time on people that actually want it and that actually have what it takes to be successful with an agency if you're given the right guidance, if you're literally given everything. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is I want to keep it very tight-knit. To be quite frank with you, given the one-to-one attention that I give, it wouldn't be possible to have thousands of students, and I like that way. And so that is why we have that goal. And the link is in the description. And that, my friend, is a wrap on this video. Really hope you enjoyed some of these answers. Maybe you took a thing or two away from it. If you did, drop a massive thumbs up, helps out with the algorithm, the whole channel. I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't subbed to this School of Ecom channel, do it. There's a lot of content that we're posting. We're posting once, twice, 3 times per day at times. And there's a mixture of in-depth trainings. There's a mixture of interviews. There's a mixture of these kind of videos. There's a mixture of snippets from one-to-one calls that I've got with my paid mentees. It's fun. It's a party here. So go ahead and do it. And with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.